And welcome back, everyone, to the One Up XP show. Now, we told you before the break, we sit down with Butler University and talk to Eric Kmeyer, the director of esports and gaming technology. But Butler is making some huge strides. Now, Butler's in the Big East for anything athletic-wise, and they play esports in the Big East, not to mention many schools around. But they have a huge growth in their esports program. And when I sat down and talked to Eric, he laid it out plain and simple for me. There's the pillars, 3 C's. And it actually all goes hand in hand. And the blueprint they have there, along with a massive, beautiful new esports park, I'm going to tell you what, Butler, they know what they're doing. Check it out. I'm joined by Eric Kmeyer, the director of esports and gaming technology. Eric, welcome, brother. Thank you for giving me some time and being here, man.
Thank you for having me. Go Dogs.
So you have 13 club and varsity teams, a massive esports park, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But just more than gaming. Explain to us the esports program at Butler, because there's much more to it than just the gaming aspect.
Yeah, esports, as we know, it has a lot of touch points in different areas, right? And I think sometimes people can get overwhelmed with the amount of, whether it's opportunity or smoke and mirrors of what that could be for opportunity for different groups, whether it's a university or a private organization kind of entering this space. And so our program, we decided to kind of center on 3 strategic pillars. One, the competitive teams in which we participate and like where we got started, right? And so being able to say, hey, we're here to be able to have our student engagement side of things. Our VP of Student Affairs, Dr. Ross, has been very supportive of being able to drive home the collective and inclusive aspect of the esports community in which we have on our campus. And then the secondary pillar is why we exist as a university, the curriculum. So our College of Communications came around and supported an esports minor, in which they graduated their first graduate last spring from. So it's really exciting to see that start to grow. And now the third pillar being the community and what we're able to now, much like you said, with this esports park, and how we're able to, in a sense, connect that end-to-end pipeline from what higher ed can provide. And that's from us being able to allow for high schools and middle schools to be able to come in and compete in this arena, because we've now pushed it to be externally facing, to offer education and gaming workshops so that they can see, hey, esports might be an exciting space, but there's actually careers around this. And how can Butler be a catalyst to be able to provide you the education you need to then land you in career opportunities? And no, it's much beyond esports and how we can actually platform, whether it's computer science, production, and I think many of you and your viewers know of the different touch points that come into esports and how collective of an environment it is. And so we've really focused on those 3 pillars, those 3 C's, competition, curriculum, and community.
Butler is one of the few major schools to have esports being a stepping stone for kids to pursue something in video game fields. What does Butler have to offer prospective students for anything under the video game umbrella?
Yeah, so video game umbrella, I think that definition depends on the person, right? So our definition of that is very broad, right? So what we've tried to create is an esports ecosystem right on our campus. So inside our facility, we actually have companies operating in here. So
very cool.
Challenge, which is a software as a service company purchased by Logitech in 2019, headed by a Butler business alum. So it's kind of cool that intersection. But the ability for them to be able to work alongside us, be able to test their software. We were utilizing it for our Battle for Indiana tournament that we have. We'll be utilizing it for our Big East tournament. And so to be able to, for them to be able to see how these universities are utilizing their technology, but for us, being able to, make our events much stronger because of having them as an asset right here, but 2, our students being able to be embedded with this corporation and be able to learn from, hey, how did they do it? How did he start a business in this space, then get, acquired? Like, what does that look like? Because that is a learning curve all itself, and how that actually translates into esports. The second company, Beast Coast, is a professional esports network. They're actually moving some of their admin staff from New York and some of their team operations here to Indianapolis. They were part of the Techstars Sports Accelerator cohort several years ago that I helped mentor. and more or less said, hey, what do you think about this? We're building this ecosystem at Butler. And everything just started to align with Grant and their leadership team is, hey, we're looking for students to be able to engage. We want them for content producing. We, want the ability to use an arena or a studio space, but don't want to have to pay the premium price all the time. We want it in our back door and pay hourly or however we want to set that up. So the ability for them to be able to come into the space, use it for co-working and office space, competition, and then be able to play in front of a crowd or work with the students as necessary. And oh, by the way, why are we here? Faculty, right? So they could embed that right into their classes as needed. The one thing that's missing from the professional scene, much of these players are of college age.
Right.
How can we turn that into some whether it, not saying you have to do a 4-year institution degree, but what about a boot camp? What about a certificate program, and how those pro teams now will be able to recruit stronger talent from a household, much like you said at the beginning of the onset of this, is learning to go into a parent's household and be able to say, hey, this kid's interested in esports. How does that translate? Well, not very well if it's just playing at their home and in front of their screen all day. But if they can come in this venue and see how they could be working with these organizations, being able to handle a camera or run graphics or replay in the back and go, oh, wait, that can be translated in traditional sports as well. So it's some of those elements that we've been able to build right here on campus, that those students can have that experience, not only working for Butler Esports, but Challenge, East Coast, and then our third partner that we just announced with Sports Tech HQ, which we're trying to, in a sense, recruit more sports tech related companies to Indianapolis, help them find VC firms to help engage them, and then provide these opportunities for those students to be able to land their career opportunities in.
Don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back with more from Eric Kmeyer, the Director of Esports and Gaming Technology at Butler University, right after the break. And here's the rest of our sit down with Eric Kmeyer, the Director of Esports and Gaming Technology at Butler University. Check it out. Is there more growth down the road that you can see coming to Butler?
For sure. And again, I would hit on those three pillars, right? So on the competitive side, we have some customized desks that we built that allow for full tabletop. The customization of that really transforms the space is one power, one data connection. So we can actually unplug those and reformat the space any way we want. And it's kind of, like I mentioned, a black box. And so we actually held back on that because we wanted to see where the growth was going to tell us, right? Do we need more of these desks and more PC gaming? Do we need more consoles? Do we need more VR? And so what we've realized is the PC gaming just continues to grow. It's continued to grow. So we will be buying more into that, which gives us the ability to continue growing our team base. And so I really think that's where we're going to see a lot more growth. We're seeing students come in right now that are excited about adding a title that we aren't even supporting right now. And so to be able to see incoming freshmen going, oh, this is my passion area, and you're going to help support me competing at the collegiate? Absolutely. So I'm really excited about adding additional teams, and my staff's aware about that, but really is growing that national brand as far as our competition level. And then the community involvement is kind of endless. I mean, we want to tap into, and our next initiative for next fall will be tying into local high schools to say, hey, our least busy time is your after school time, that 3 o'clock to about 6 o'clock time frame, where we could actually plug you in what we have, the Indiana Esports Network, much like other high school organizations across the nation have their state esports organization. But is, instead of trying to build out this facility, trying to maintain it and everything else, why don't you bring a coach over to our facility, reserve these PCs, buy some memberships for them for the period that you need. We'll reserve that space, and those teams will be able to compete on a regular basis. And you can see if you really need to or want to build it out on in your high school down the road. But it gives them the ability to be able to launch that right out of our facility, and again, selfishly build that affinity where then at 6 o'clock, do they want to stay and watch now our teams play? Follow us at Butler Esports on your social media platforms, esports.butler.edu, a website. We share a lot of our news up there. I kind of teased that we will have a big PR announcement next week. So we'll release it and share the story up there on our social media platforms and on the website. So if anybody finds themselves wanting to travel to Indianapolis, we definitely want to showcase the space. We're open 8 to noon, Monday through Friday for classes. So that's typically a could be a dicey time to come check out the venue, because we do host several classes throughout the week in our facility. And then 1 o'clock, that'll be the time that we open to the community and our students to be able to check out the facility and be able to game. And we stay open till 10 o'clock all the way till Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday open till 11, Sunday 1 to 8. So feel free to definitely check out the venue if you happen to be in Indy or want to make the trip.
And again, my huge thanks for Eric taking that time out to talk to me. But again, it is absolutely fascinating how Butler is going about and doing their esports program and doing it well and correctly for them, especially with Indiana and Indianapolis really up and coming with high school and middle school esports programs, not to mention all of the possibilities of students going and learning and getting real world practice and internship just inside of their esports park alone. So hats off to Eric for letting me talk to him and getting all the information on Butler. And if you need more information, you can always head to Butler's website. Just Google Butler Esports Program. It'll take you right where you need to go. You can always reach out to Eric if you need more information as well. And they're always open for coming down and visiting that esports park.